Okay, welcome back. My name's Alex. I will be your guide today for a little bit of talking about the Rolleiflex 111A and twin lens reflex cameras in general. This is the Colorado Warcos reenactment YouTube page, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so first let's talk a little bit about twin lens reflex cameras, also known as TLR cameras. The Rolleiflex is probably one of the most famous versions of this. This is the Rolleiflex 111A. Twin lens being that there are two lenses on the front of the camera. The top lens being what you focus through, the bottom lens what actually exposes the film. Now let me take the cap off of here. So if you can see, with this Rolleiflex, we have two lenses, hence the twin lens reflex. Now, if we open the top of the camera here, this little box opens up here. You may not be able to see very well, but what happens is you've got a piece of ground glass there, like as in similar to 4x5s or other speed graphic and those type of cameras. Now, you might be able to see how my finger, you can kind of see it back and forth. It's not the best focus right now, but the top lens is for focusing your image. The bottom lens is what actually exposes the film. Now, when you're focusing the image, you have a little magnifying glass here that you can then use to get your distance setting right and that sort of thing. And you'll see when I mess with the distance here, let me get a good shot of this. If I mess with the distance forward and back, the lenses themselves, you can see, move in and out, getting closer and further from the subject matter that you're taking a photo of, hence focusing both lenses at once. So if your top lens is focused, that you're looking through, your bottom lens will also be focused. Then you take your picture, hopefully everything turns out great. So the twin lens reflex was such a popular camera during the 1940s and 50s that there's a modern day version of this camera that is a Polaroid, and that is the MiNT TL70 Instant Flex. Now this camera, as you can see, looks very similar to our Rolleiflex here, but it is a modern camera that takes pictures with Polaroid film, specifically Fuji film or a similar Instax size. If I can get one thing out of here, you can see it takes Instax Fuji film or whatever Instax size. Gosh, that's really reflective. There we go, Instax film. Now, when inserted, this guy works very similar to a Rolleiflex or any other TLR, so we're going to kind of use this just for educational purposes. But the top opens up very similarly. Now, you can see that with the twin lens reflex, let's kind of line that up. You can kind of see my ceiling there. Let's see if you can see my hand. If I get that way, you can kind of see that there. See how the top lens, let's try to line that up a little better. Top lens, you can see my hand there, is your focus. Bottom lens is what exposes the film. Just the same as a Rolleiflex or traditional TLR camera. We've got a lens hood here. I also have one of those from my Rolleiflex. We'll do a little picture side by side with those. What I do like about the Instant Flex 2 is it has an integrated flash. You push a button here on the side, your flash flips out, and you're ready to take a photo. Now we're going to take a photo just for the heck of it. Let me line this up. We also have a magnifying glass, just like on the Rolleiflex here. Let me line this up. We're going to get a shot of my laptop here for all you back home. There we go, with a little flash. Probably too much lighting, to be honest, but we're going to let that develop, and we're going to do it without the flash real quick. And when we are finished with this video, we'll see how they turned out. Ooh, that one's going to be a little wobbly, I'm sure. All right. Okay, while the Instant Flex is a great camera to have for reenactment purposes because you can develop film on the fly through Polaroid, during the Second World War, Polaroid was not a thing. So if you want to take really true pictures with a vintage medium, something like a Rolleiflex or another TLR will be your go-to. Now, traditionally, these cameras take 120 size film. So here are some sealed 120 packs that I haven't shot on yet. I'm not going to open them for this purposes, but it basically is rolled film, comes on a spool just like this, It's rolled up with paper on either end, and you feed it through the back of the camera. There's plenty of videos on YouTube on how to do this. You feed it through the back of the camera. The spool then goes onto another spool on the top of the camera. Once you've shot, it's like 12 or 13 photos. You're basically done with it. Now, that's all well and good. Shooting that film is great, but it's very expensive to get scanned and developed. So what if we could shoot with a Rolleiflex on 35 millimeter instead of 120? Now you see the size difference here. So we're going to get a smaller shot let me see if I can do this a little better. Smaller shot per roll of film, right? About a 1/4 inch less in terms of size of the film. But you could get something like 36 exposures, if you got a roll that is that big. Luckily, they had the same idea in the 1930s and 40s. And there is a thing called the Rolleikin. So the Rolleikin is what we will be talking about next. All right, so the Rolleikin is a specifically designed conversion group of pieces to shoot 35 millimeter on what is normally a 120 size film camera. And it consists of actually 4 pieces. It consists of 5 pieces. I only have 4 of the 5, but you have the separate back of the camera that then also has a counter that goes all the way up to 36. You have a size decreaser for the window of the shooting of the film. You have a bottom roller that allows you to both roll the film up into the camera itself, and then also allows you to back roll it at the end when you're done, so you can put it back on the 35 millimeter roll to take it to be developed. It also has a 35 millimeter take-up spool that goes in the top of the camera. Now let me show you how this whole thing works. So, before we get too crazy into the Rolleikin, let me set all this stuff aside here. Let me show you how to open your Rolleiflex. So on the bottom here, you have a couple of levers. This one will move to the side here, just like that, as far as you can go. Then this little piece here flips back, just like that. Now you're ready to open the back of your camera. As you open it, you'll see there's a space for a bottom roller here, and there's space for a top roller here. You might not be able to see that. Now on the side, you have these little levers. You pick them up one at a time. They unclick the back of the camera, and the back will actually just come right off, just like that. Now we'll set our 120 back aside for now, and we'll put our Rolleikin back on at the very end. But first things first, I want to show you the back of a Rolleiflex. So there you can see much better where the outgoing spool is. That's where you would load your 120 film that hasn't been developed yet. You go underneath this little bar, and you go up the back of the camera into where the take-up spool would be, which is in the top here. It would fit there just like that. Instead, we're going to be mounting our 35 millimeter Rolleikin take-up spool, which might take me a second to get in here. Oh, almost there. Just like that. Now there we are. Now on the bottom, we're going to take our Kodak color film here, using 400 speed color film, 35 millimeters, as you can see. And it kind of correlates just like you imagine it does into the rollout spool here. So the top will go in on one side, and the outgoing spool will have to line up here on this. Oh, I think we're good, right? Let's see. Oh yeah, we are good. So I'm going to pull some of that out because we're going to need some developed film in order to get it to wrap up and through the thing. So now we're going to pop this setup into the bottom of our Rolleiflex, just like this. With the, I've found that the metal piece itself works best when it's towards the rear. Okay, oh, this is hard to do when I can't see it. So we're gonna go push this back around this way a little bit. that. There we go. Okay, just like that. Sorry. You can see now how the film catches up against the metal slide here. Otherwise it won't fit in the actual Rolleiflex body. Okay, so now we have our film in there. I don't know if you can see that. And we're going to take our 35 millimeter, and first things first, I totally spaced this, but we're going to leave that there for a moment. This is our little window to the world. Now this mounts inside of the viewing portion of where the photographs come through and reflect on the plate. So this guy, we're just going to slide right in here like this, and it limits the size of the photograph to be 35 millimeter. So now, as we put our film, just like we would do 120, we go up and underneath this wheel. Oh, goodness. There we go. Go up and underneath that wheel, just like that. And you can see the 35 millimeter lays across that new metal plate almost perfectly. Now we're going to tuck the film into our new take-up wheel here, and then we give it a couple of cranks to make the film flat there, as you can see. So now we are ready to shoot. So the last thing we do is we take the Rolleikin back on the camera. We're going to slip that back into the back opening spot here. We're going to lock each side individually. We are then going to close the back, keeping that piece up, lock it down. Then we're going to roll some film. Now the take-up wheel should show the number as we roll it. So, assuming everything's working all right. Oh, we might need to expose the... There we go. There it is. You got to hit that. That allows you to roll the film. That button there. And we are at picture number 1. Now we're going to charge the shutter, put it back, and we can then take our first picture with the Rolleikin on 35 millimeter. Let's get that aimed up much closer than I expected. Too close perhaps, but that's okay. All right, get the shutter release. And then we hold the back button down again when we roll. Charge the shutter, and you're ready to go again. Now, of course, with the Rolleiflex, you still need to set your f-stop up here and your shutter speed. Unfortunately, the shutter speed on this Rollie is busted. It only shoots at 200. But we can set our f-stop lower, higher, that sort of thing. But now we're shooting on 35 millimeter. All right, well, that was a very quick overview on the Rolleiflex, very early 1930s models, as well as the TL70. Both are excellent cameras, and I love shooting with both of them. I can't tell you how much I adore the Instant Flex. This is such a fantastic camera to have for reenactment purposes, to be able to take pictures of people and kids and whatever else, and then give them a copy of their photo in real time. People absolutely love. Just to give you an idea, the one with the flash didn't really come out. We can kind of look at that. You can see the laptop, but you can't see anything on the laptop. The one that I took without a flash, you can see some of the details. It's actually not a bad picture. You can see my TV in the background there as well. Oh, other side here. There it is. Anywho, I'm still learning on all this stuff. If you got any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends. We'll talk soon. Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Anyway, one thing I forgot, on these old school Rolleikins from the 30s, you actually can't rewind the 35 millimeter back onto the roll itself without removing the Rolleikin back, because not the timer, but the counter only moves up. It doesn't move back the other way. This is a little bit of a hassle, but you just need to find some place that is a dark room, such as maybe a bathroom that you have that doesn't have any windows. Maybe you can use that. Or a basement that is very, very dark with zero light. But once what you do is you pop the back open, you then rewind the film back onto the 35 millimeter case that's in there. Then you take it in for processing. You should be good to go. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.